Okay, we're back for another podcast episode. Me and Zach Attack, right, Zach?
Hey everybody.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the top 5 ways that you can quit porn for good. And we're going to walk you through each one of those. And it really is a recipe for success. And it's simple, but maybe not easy. So I'm going to introduce each topic and give you a brief overview of the neuromechanisms behind it. And then Zach's going to share how that would actually show up in your life. So make sure you stay for all 5 of them, because if you put them together, you will succeed in this journey. Okay, number one, as much as you might not like to know, number one is that tell somebody. When you tell somebody that you're struggling with pornography or with other sexual acting out, first of all, if you've heard me talk about how the neuromechanisms of addiction and porn addiction work, your brain is using energy out in the extremes, too fast, too slow. It changes the neurotransmitter cascade, making it so that you have to go back into the screen for more dopamine. When you tell somebody, your brain literally starts to shift towards that medium speed, giving you an immediate freedom from this pendulum effect. And that's going to show up in how you feel and how you think. And that's what Zach's going to share your journey and kind of what people can look forward to when you externalize this challenge in your life to somebody else.
Right. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And that first step for me was in college. My buddy Cade, we were really close, and I knew that he cared about me. And I told him, I was like, dude, I have this problem. I'm struggling with pornography. And the amazing thing was all the things that I thought were going to happen didn't happen. He didn't judge me. He didn't look down on me. He was like, dude, I get it, man, but I'm here for you. You got to find somebody. You got to find that person that you can trust, that won't judge you, but will come alongside you. And you have to tell that person.
Yeah, and that might be harder and harder in today's day and age when, so many people watch porn, and guys will tell their buddies, and their buddies think it's cool or not a big deal. So it's, I think it's shifting where there's not even judgment in a negative way. There's judgment in a what's wrong with that type of way. And someone wrote a comment on my YouTube channel saying that his buddy thinks he's an inspiration now because he has like 100-day streak going. And I thought that was really cool because he turned this struggle into a, success journey, and then a journey of inspiration for the friend that he told. So I thought that was totally awesome. So when you externalize that, now there's two people on it. And when you join our 90-day program, if you're interested, there's never any pressure, but we're here to serve. When people join my 90-day program, the first step is they do a Zoom call with me. And it's super important to me. And people will get on and I'll say, I'm so glad to meet you. And, thank you for taking the time, because we're in this thing together now. And I believe that. And I'm like, email me, because I will move you through, join the group coaching. I will move you through this if you need to stay connected. Email me your successes. If nobody else knows about this, I know about this now, and we can do this together. Huge power in that. And that's why we do it that way, because it just serves. Okay, so number 2, moving on to number 2 in the 5 ways that you can quit porn for good is to get informed. Get informed. And I will tell you, that's why I made the YouTube channel in the first place. I didn't even know I was making a YouTube channel when I put the first video out, How to Heal Your Brain from Porn. It's 2 minutes and 49 seconds. It doesn't say a lot. I was just making a video because I'm like, world, you need to know that porn is damaging your brain, and you need to know that there's ways that you can get out of a pornography habit. And so now I make all the videos so that you can get informed. And of course, there's other resources. So what do you think about getting informed, Zach?
So getting informed was a huge step for me in getting out of the porn cycle. I read the book, Your Brain on Porn by Gary Wilson, and it was amazing. It was scientific. It was done in a smart manner. And it also provided examples of other guys that were going through the same things I was going through. But, I've also, when I started taking your program, I was like, there's even more information. And so it's so detailed. I love your program as well. And then if you if you don't like Your Brain on Porn or Dr. Lee's program, there's also Fight the New Drug, has great information on there, easily accessible, great podcast. So those are the ways I've informed myself.
Yeah, Fight the New Drug. And I love Your Brain on Porn too. And Gary Wilson has established an amazing website, which has so much science and anecdote, which I like about that. And of course, he's the founding father of healing brains from porn. But what I thought was lacking in the book, which honestly inspired my journey also, is that it felt, and I know other people feel this way too, it didn't, to me, show the magnitude of how difficult it can be to leave porn behind, because it had a lot of stories of like, you do this and you can be done watching porn. And I know when people are like, they read it and they were inspired, but didn't know that this runs deep. And for many people, porn addiction runs deep. And I know people tell me all the time is they will say, I had no idea this goes back to my childhood, into my patterning, into my traumas and my dysfunction. And so like, it really is deep. Patrick Carnes is another kind of forefather in this area. He talks a lot about those things. And there's some, not that I have all the answers, but when you piece all these things together, it covers all the shortcomings, I think. So, and I think Fight the New Drug has done a really amazing job of informing people, but also showing like, if you can't just, put porn down and move on with your life, that is to be expected because it is very difficult. Yeah, so get informed and Fight the New Drug. I think they're doing an amazing job doing that. And Your Brain on Porn is an amazing website with stories and of challenge and stories of triumph. Okay, number 3 in our journey of our number 5 ways that we can quit porn is to set up a defensive strategy. Now, defense generally doesn't win the game, but defense prevents you from losing the game, especially early on. So what do you have to say about some good defensive strategies to get going?
Right. So I made hard choices in my life to set up a defense plan. My computer was a problem. I got rid of my computer. My game system was a problem. I got rid of my game system. Even my phone, I had the flip phone way longer than it was cool, right? And so I had my flip phone for a while. I no longer have it because, as we'll see in the next point in the list, once you have a good defensive strategy and you get rid of all the access points and you get some time under your belt of not looking at porn, then your offensive strategy allows you to then come back and have the things that you gave up for a time period.
Definitely. Yeah, I love it. And another person, I was doing comments on YouTube, you can tell, another person wrote to someone's like, what can I do to, start to feel better? And someone wrote, you just need time, bro. And I wrote, you need more than time, my friend. You need time and a plan. And the plan is, the defensive plan keeps you out of the screen. And the way I talk about it is that's when the porn brain pattern can unwire itself. But rewiring doesn't happen as fast, especially if you don't do any of the offensive strategies. So the offensive strategies are doing a project that fires your brain up in the right direction, actually starting the idea of always having a project so that your time is also offset, and, changing your routines, your habits, your thought processes, understanding your feelings, being willing to sit with them instead of escaping them, figuring them out, growing your emotional intelligence and your emotional maturity so you can engage and approach in the world, even when it's challenging for you. That's the rewire. And every time you have a win in that department, you don't need your defensive strategy anymore. And you can put the defenses down because now you have your offensive plan that will, move you forward. Okay, so moving on, we are talking about being able to have the offensive plan. So do you share everything that you wanted to talk about that? Right. That's our fourth.
Yeah. So number 4 is our offensive strategy. And this is actually something I learned really well from Dr. Leigh. So I had a lot of defenses, and she was telling me one day, I was like, yeah, I got all these things set up. I haven't been looking at it. It's been going great. And she's like, oh, well, you're just playing defense. You need to play offense as well. Mm-hmm. And so for me, the offensive plan was all the things that this voice in the back of my head told me that I should be doing. You already know, man, I should be exercising. Man, I should be pursuing music if you're a musician. Man, I should be pursuing that degree. Man, I should be working harder at work. It tells you, your brain will tell you what you need to do. That's your offensive plan. You set that up, exercise, meditating.
Mhm.
If you're spiritual, reading the Bible or praying or whatever book you read. So that's the offensive strategy.
Yeah, and it's the foundation. When you build it, you protect that. You have to be vigilant on your foundation and protect it. You're vigilant for it. And when you're vigilant for your foundation, you no longer have to be vigilant against porn. You don't have to be against. And that's why I tell people when they're like, let's fight this battle. I'm like, we're not fighting anything. We're letting that go. We're surrendering the patterns of the past and establishing patterns of the future. And when you don't fight it, it dissipates. But then you have to protect that plan that moves you into the future. And you're right, you don't know, and this is really important. In this journey, you might not know what those things are until your brain unwires and until the rewiring starts. And then there's space. The time does give you the space, and the space opens up and you can feel those things and hear them. Okay, last one. Number 5 is join a program or a group. And it is so important. And again, I write this on the YouTube channel, is that when you're in a program, this is science shows, when you're in a program and it's giving you all the strategies that are proven to be effective and you move through them comprehensively from start to finish, it helps you to process and integrate your transformational experience. And the group supports you in that so that you can fill in gaps that you might not be able to fill in all by yourself. So do you have a thought on that, Zack?
Yeah. So joining a group for me when I was looking at pornography really catapulted me into success. So I was part of a group called Proven Men. I showed up every week and I told them, here's when I screwed up. Here's how many times I screwed up. They were there and they supported me. No judgment. The first meeting, always the hardest. Showing up, it feels weird. It feels funky, but you can do it. You got to join a program. We have a great program here. And so we can offer you services, but you can join whatever program that is near you. We just want you to get out of this habit.
Yeah, and it's called the therapeutic alliance. When you feel connected to people in a way that feels good to you, that's the most important factor. So if that's not us, that's okay. Find one that feels good for you to connect. And what I like about our program is that you can show up and keep your video off and your audio off until you're ready. So it becomes a safe space. So find a place that feels safe for you so you can show up and get the work done. All right, Zack, thanks for joining me again. I totally appreciate it. 5 really important steps for people. Keep moving you forward, and I'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.